What is up, Autocons and Deceptibots? Deceptibot9 here, back with another review. And this one I'm really excited about. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't have it right here in my hands yet because I want to show you guys a big overall picture, and it's easier to do that over at the desk. So let's go jump into it. Oh, it's the Quintesson Pit of Judgement. Let's go. Alright, here we are over at the desk showing off the Quintesson Pit of Judgement. This thing is a pretty large piece, and it's got little guys that don't peg in place, so it's a lot easier just to show off this whole display at the desk, just like this. And then I'll switch back to my regular format to show off the individual guys. But getting an overall glimpse here, we see we got our Quintesson Judge, and we've got nice detail here on the paint on the cardboard. It's not really painted, I guess. We move down to this first layer. We've got the Quintesson Bailiff, Kranix, and the Prosecutor all here. You see the sort of details going on all over in the cardboard display. And then down here, the bottom level as well, we have the Sharkticon with some other fins and the lava pit, and the detail looking great on the actual cardboard display. This is the only type of big display piece like this that I have in my collection, and I was very lucky to be able to get it from Hasbro Pulse during the HasbroPulseCon. So I'm very happy and lucky about that. And we get a lot of new cool stuff going on in here. We've got Kranix, who is an entirely new mold, and it's the first time this character's ever been in plastic. And we have also got the Prosecutor, who is also, I believe this is his first time in plastic as well, and is a unique mold. We've got the Sharkticon, who is from the Titans Return line. He is the Titans Return mold. He's just got some new paint decos going on there. We also have the Bailiff, who is a repaint and a slight remold of the Earthrise Alicon that's coming out. So while this one individually is not a new mold, he is based off of a new mold. He has a new paint to a new mold. And of course, we have the Quintesson Judge himself as well, who, in a similar deal to the Bailiff, he is just this one though is just a repaint of the Earthrise Quintesson Judge. So while not an entirely new mold, he is based off of a new mold. So let's show off these individual pieces and talk about them. Alright, I'm going to start off here with Kranix, and before I go back to my regular format, I'm going to show off Kranix and the Prosecutor up in this the desk format, because I think I'll be able to show off the details of these little guys better, because they are quite small. Kranix is only about the length of about half of my fingertip, and he's got some neat paint going on for a figure of that size. We've got the yellow up here at the top of his head. His very faint blue on the eyes. You can see it there. He's got great detail though on his face. He's got the mustache and beard combo that he rocked in the film. And we've got the pink on the legs and on the little belly. And great little details all over and all around this guy. He looks fantastic. And it's cool to finally have this character for the first time in figure form. We also have, for the first time in figure form, our Quintesson Prosecutor, and this guy is just outstanding. He looks super cool. My only gripe with this guy is I wish he had more articulation. Mostly I wish I could turn his little tentacles around. You can turn his head slightly left and right. It is just held on by a 5mm port. And same with this blast effect down here. It is just held on by a 5mm port, so you can take that off. But it adds to the heightened detail of this guy here. He looks just absolutely incredible from all angles. There's not a bad looking angle on this guy. Alright, let's start off here with the Sharkticon. the smallest of the actual transforming figures in this set, but that doesn't stop him from being any less awesome. And he is just a repaint of the 2016 Titans Return Sharkticon, specifically they called him Gnaw, but it's just a random Sharkticon. I would have him to show off with this Sharkticon, but he is in a storage tub somewhere, and if I remembered which one he was in, I would have gotten him out. But I don't remember. I don't want to dig through all those. But we have this one right here in front of us, and he looks great in shark mode, really. Can't go wrong. You've got an opening mouth, because you can open both sides of the mouth, so you can get a nice wide jaw going on there. An articulation on him, too. He's got arms that are on just little hinges, and he can go up and down. And his legs, he's got a ball joint at the top part of the leg. I guess that would be the thigh. And the knee, you can clearly see his hand there, has a ball joint as well, because it will obviously turn into the arm. The colors on this guy, though, are what are the flawlessness of this figure. He is painted so spectacularly. This silver, or whatever color this is, the grayish that they used here on the lips is absolutely amazing. It's a nice little shiny, it's hard to tell on the camera. It's not really coming off quite as well as it does in person. But the contrast of the shininess with the light blue looks fantastic. This lighter, or I guess it's darkish blue gray color that they used up at the top also really, really nice, and it suits the Sharkticon very, very well. So now let's get into the transformation for this guy. It's quick and easy. I tried out a thing with my last video, my Starscream video, of doing just talking about transformations while they're flash happening on screen. I think I'm sticking to that as well for this one. Not much really to talk about in terms of transformation for the Sharkticon. It's nice and simple and straightforward, like you would expect for a figure for a Legends class from 4 years ago. And here is the Sharkticon all put up into his robot mode. And it still is great. This figure, I haven't really messed around with him for a while, the mold I mean, but having him in hand again after some years of not messing with him, it's still nice. And he still holds up quite well for being a figure from 4 years ago. But also, frankly, I loved the Titans Return line, and I love messing with all those figures all the time. A lot of those figures still hold up pretty well, in my opinion. But the Sharkticon here is no exception to that rule, because 4 years ago, and they're repurposing this guy, repainting him, throwing him in a con box set, and he just looks absolutely amazing. He's got the nice chubbiness going on here. His head, which is going to be hard to focus on because my camera hates me sometimes, is just amazing. Whatever. One day I'll have a camera that actually focuses on stuff when I show it off. Anyway, Sharkticon, really nice. Here in robot mode, he's got a pretty good amount of articulation. His head spins around. His arms, as we saw, are on ball joints. And his legs now also are on ball joints and have a slight knee bend. That's all I got for the Sharkticon. Let's go a size class up to the Bailiff. Here is the Quintesson Bailiff. This is a deluxe size figure. Like I said earlier, he is a retooling and repainting, repurposing of the Quintesson Alicon figure that's in Wave 2 of Earthrise, which has not yet made it to my locations, and I haven't seen in stores. But the Alicon is one of the figures that I am dying to get because he looked fantastic, and I always love when we get Quintesson-inspired figures. The Alicon is one that's never happened before, and the Bailiff especially is also now one that has never happened before and probably won't happen again. At least not for a long while. And so being able to get my hands on this guy is absolutely amazing. His head sculpt here is one of the best I think I've ever seen. And I barely remember seeing these guys in the movie, but when this box set was announced, I went back and watched that scene and noticed them, and I was like, oh, sick, those guys look rad, because they look fantastic in the film. And the colors on this guy are nice. It's like a weird olive green, complementing this brownish color. And some of the pinks, like the pink here on the chest and on the face, look amazing. He has a red in his eyes, which of course you can't really see. But he's great overall. In terms of articulation, his head is on a nice ball joint. You can get a lot of movement out of that. His hips, if you want to pop open this flap, do rotate around, part of the transformation, but his shoulders go all the way around these. His arms go in and out. He's got an elbow bend and a wrist swivel. His legs go forward, back, in and out. Got a swivel at the top here. Got a bend at the knee. And the ankle is what's really cool because you can pivot him out. You got that ankle rocker joint, but it's also an ankle forward rocker joint. You can get him going forward. It is more for the alligator mode, but still. And as you can see, he's got a couple accessories. I know I didn't really mention the Sharkticon's accessory. Let's do that now. He's got that little mace that formed the tail in shark mode. So sorry for forgetting to mention that. Anyway, the bailiff here has got this tail sword, which is part of the Alicon mold because it stores here in the tail, and that just forms a more complete tail. So if you want to leave it in here, you can do that. I like to take it out and make it form the sword. Otherwise, you get this staff sort of weapon that is an axe and a mace, and you can uncombine the two and sort of do a one in each hand. So he's got a mace and an axe coming at you. And that also looks pretty threatening, if you ask me. All right, now on to transformation for the Quintesson Bailiff. Again, not yet having the Alicon mold, this transformation was a surprise to me. It was something new and fresh. I'm sure even if I had the Alicon mold before I got a hold of the bailiff, I still would have liked it, but I'm not sure I would have liked it as much, seeing that this is my first encounter with this transformation. It's nice and simple and easy, but at the same time, it is a whole lot of fun. And so here is the bailiff in his alligator mode, and this thing is just insanely cool. I love the details on him. All the colors here are the same, and he just kind of basically spins around and flips a crocodile head on the top. But he just looks incredible. The whole back tail section also looks great, and the head has plenty of emotion you can get out of there. He can open probably just as wide as the Sharkticon did, but you can get a nice range of how you want to get him to go munch on stuff, on prisoners and whatnot. Articulation here, he lost a head movement, but he gained a jaw. His little crocodile arms just are on swivels, and his leg articulation is the same. And this is where I mean he might be using that forward rocker joint for the alligator mode, is getting him in some sort of walking position like this or whatnot. Regardless, I think it's a sweet joint that we haven't really seen on a figure lately, and that is the Quintesson Bailiff. Pretty awesome. So now let's hop up one more size class to what I think is the absolute centerpiece of this set, the Quintesson Judge. All right, here is the Quintesson Judge in his robot. Do we even call this a robot? It's something. In his main mode. Transformation is it's something. He has an alt mode. It's kind of a weird jail cell thing. I'm sure you've all seen it by now. I will probably show it off in here, but holding it's going to be a little odd. But this is the Quintesson. We have been waiting so long for a figure of this guy, and we finally have one. It's amazing. I was so excited for the Earthrise one alone just by itself. I'm still going to get that one. Because I don't mind having multiples of these guys. And especially with the aesthetic differences between this Judge and the regular release Judge, especially don't mind that. This guy just looks and feels awesome. And the fact that we finally have a Quintesson Judge figure is so cool, because it's something, at least that I have been wanting for a long time. Because the Quintessons are always such a cool inclusion in the Transformers lore and history, and the fact that we never at least got something out of this guy is kind of crazy. But now we finally do, and he just looks incredible, and he's so fun. So there's each of the faces. A couple of them have mouth gimmicks. This one here does. This is, if I remember correctly, the face of death. Okay, and on the back, I'm just going to dodge the chair for now. Here's the chair. He sits in it. So on the back, there's this little lever, and you push that lever, and it does the spin gimmick. It's so cool. It's so much fun to sit here and spin. Here we have the other face. I believe this is the face of wisdom, I think. And he's got a little mouth dealio as well. He can open and close that guy a little bit. Next face is the face of wrath. Probably my favorite face. This one just looks super cool. I love the orange aesthetic that they used on this one, and he also has a clampy mouth, sharp teeth gimmick. Maybe this was the face of wisdom. If it was, I don't remember what the other one was. There's this face. I don't remember which one exactly this is. I'm sure someone will let me know, or I can just look in my instruction booklet, but I'm not gonna. He does not have a mouth gimmick. He is just plain. But the green looks really nice, and the yellow eyes are a sweet compliment to him. Onto the, oops, I went too far. Onto the final face. This is the face of wit. The face of wit. He also does not have a mouth gimmick. He comes as he is, but he also looks spectacular. The deco on this is just amazing. Each of these heads look absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. The tentacles can move. These are really the only other bits of articulation on the Judge. They are a soft plastic, so you can bend them around and whatnot, but they are on a hinge, so you could put them all down or something, and the blast effect, I guess you could call this, does come off. There's a little lever on the back that's holding it on a clip, so then you could just have the floating egg in and of itself. And he does have a little pistol that can connect onto any one of his tentacles via these little ports. I guess we should do the transformation so I can show it off. It's going to be a little awkward holding it because he doesn't really transform into anything solid particularly, but we'll do the best we can. Yeah, the transformation on this guy, he is a little parts formery, but that doesn't stop him from being any less fun. It's just fun to fiddle with this guy and move his pieces around, even though him having an alt mode doesn't make a ton of sense, and it is a little odd. It's neat. It's neat. He turns into a neat little jail thing, because as you saw, out of his head popped that little jail cell, right? So there's a couple little things that you got to do. Put the dome on the top. He's a little jail thing. Fold out the chair. Yes. All right. So this is technically the Quintesson Judge's alt mode for Earthrise. It's a little weird to be holding because other pieces want to just kind of flop about. Doesn't make sense, but it's just fun. It's overall fun. What are you gonna do? That's what we do with figures, is we have fun. Do they need to make sense? No. We have fun. All right, you guys, that is all I have today in terms of the Pit of Judgment. And really awesome set. And if this year had been normal, as in we actually had cons, not sure I would have been able to get it, because I'm pretty sure it would have been a San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And last time I tried to get one of those online, sold out, and I couldn't get it. That was a Throne of the Primes. But having the HasCon online sort of deal definitely kept me clued in on when I needed it, and it also just made it a little more widely available than other convention exclusives. So I'm very glad to have gotten my hands on this set. It's from easily the best Transformers movie. It's such a rewatchable scene over and over, and it's going to look great with those upcoming Studio Series Hot Rod and Cup figures. It's going to make an awesome centerpiece display, and it frankly looks great in my collection. You can see the hole of where it usually stores. So overall, this set is phenomenal, and I'm glad I've been able to get my hands on it, and it didn't end up like a Siege Skywarp or an Earthrise Coneheads where I wasn't able to get it, and now the price is double, triple sort of deal, and might not ever be able to get those. So I'm very glad that I was able to get my hands on this one. That is all I have for you guys today. Cybertronians, I will see you all next time.